Hi, this is Mike Peterson from Challenge Island, Oakland County East, back with another one of our Steamtastic Fridays. So we're right in the middle of our RC Rules series where we're talking about remote control cars and some of the cool STEAM aspects that go into each one of those. Today we're going to tackle the E in STEAM, which stands for engineering. So today we'll talk about a pretty cool trick that engineers have used over the years to get information to move from one place to the other through the air, which is through what we call radio waves. And in particular for our RC car, that's how we get information from the controller to the car so it knows where to go, or from a controller to maybe a robot if we want to move a robot around. So just a little bit of history. The first person to figure out that we could use radio waves in there to do this, his name was Heinrich Hertz. So he was an engineer in Germany back in the 1880s who discovered how all this works. So when we talk about radio waves, it's the same word like when you think of a wave in the ocean. So if you think of a wave in the ocean, it goes up and down at kind of the same speed over and over again. Radio waves do that same kind of thing. They just move a little bit faster. So let me show you some examples of things that our radio waves can help with. So this kind of shows, so radio waves can be slow, or they can be fast, or they can be really fast as they go through the air. So we can't see them, but if you have the right kind of receiver, you can pick them up and you can get information from those. So just some examples of what radio waves can do. So the slower ones work for like radios and TVs to send signals for radios and TVs through the air. The ones that are a little faster are actually the ones that you have in your microwave at home to heat up the water inside the food to warm the food up. As we get a little faster, we get into light. So light is made of radio waves. All the different colors are just different speeds of those waves. And as we get even faster, we can use them as x-rays in a doctor's office or even for a nuclear power plant as we get super fast radio waves. Now for our remote control cars, here's kind of where they fit into that spectrum or that whole range from slow frequencies to high frequencies. So when we look at the older style remote control cars, or the ones that have been around a while, they run at either 27 or 49 megahertz. So you might recognize that name Hertz. That was that scientist, Heinrich Hertz. They named this for him, which was pretty cool. And so what that talks about is how many times a second does that wave go up and down as it moves through the air. So Hertz is 1 each second. The M stands for mega, which is another term for million. So if we have a remote control car that runs at 49 megahertz, that means it's sending that signal 49 million times a second that wave is going up and down. So that's what some of the older ones did. The newer RC cars actually send a signal even faster than that. They go at over 2 or 2.5 gigahertz. So a giga is like a billion. So that would mean that the wave is going up and down about 2.5 billion times a second to move that signal around. So when we push a button on our remote control, it's sending that radio wave at that speed into our car, or this one's sending it into the robot, and the robot's watching for that particular frequency, and when it sees that signal come in, it realizes, oh, somebody's telling me to do something, I better turn left or I better turn right. So the way it does that is it actually takes two waves and combines them together. So this kind of shows that. The one in the middle here, that's that wave I talked about, the 27 megahertz or the 2.4 gigahertz. That's the one that's at just the right speed that our receiver, so the car or the robot, knows what to look for. But at the same time, we need to send information. So we need to tell it, okay, I want you to turn left, I want you to turn right. So that is kind of a wave, is kind of a signal on its own too. So before we send it through our remote control, we combine that information, those left turns and right turns and button pushes, with that wave to send it. And so it ends up kind of looking like this. So it's a little more complicated looking wave. So that's what actually goes through to the car. And then when the truck sees that, then it can figure out, okay, oh, that means I need to turn right. Or, oh, no, I need to turn left. Or now I need to turn right and go backwards at the same time. So we can actually send multiple different kinds of signals at the same time over that wave and get all that information in there. So that's how waves make a car do all the cool things that it does when you play with a remote control car. One last tip before I let you go though. it takes a lot of work for the remote control car to watch for all those signals and be ready for them. So the car is always watching because it never knows when you're going to push that remote control. So to make sure you make your remote control car, your robot, last as long as possible, just make sure you turn it off before you're done with it. So that way it knows that it can take a little break and not have to look for all those signals and all those radio waves before you're ready to play with it again. All right, with that, thank you very much for joining us again this week, and we'll see you next week.